I'm Wathoni and Yancy, and you're welcome to yet another episode of the Baby Talk Show. On this episode, I'll be discussing factors when it comes to preparing or having a child, or even thinking of having a child. Now, when I talk about factors of having or preparing to have a child, I'm not talking about some of us look at, okay, are you ready to have a child, in the sense that, how will I explain this now? You need to know the time. I'm actually looking at the emotional, the psychological, the mental, the financial, and the physical. So I was having an argument like months back with this guy, and we were talking about factors when it comes to having a child, and he was like, for him, he has to look at finance. And this guy is like a multi-millionaire. And I'm like, how can finance be your issue when you're like a multi-millionaire? Like, do you want to be a billionaire before you're ready to have a child? Because I was looking at it from an angle that probably as at that time had like maybe 80 grand in my account. Finance wasn't still the number one for me. Not even mental. Not even the mentally part was. My number one was emotional. Because if you've been a mom and you've gone through postpartum depression, you've gone through all those kind of emotional, even as a single parent, that emotional factor is like, it plays a huge part. So I feel like finance isn't really, maybe because I went through it while I was still in uni and I did fine. But I feel like when it comes to finance and having a child, there's something that comes with, let's even go biblical, like God doesn't leave his own. God said it, let the children come to me. So it's like, when you get your child, like, when it comes to finance, everything is sorted one way or the other. I can't explain, I don't know how it happens, but for me, finance is not number one. I know finance might be number one to you, or to you that is even a billionaire, because I mean, my friend who's a multi-millionaire is looking at finance as number one. If you even say physical, I'll understand. If you say mental, I'll understand. If you say psychological, I'll understand. But emotionally draining. I wish I had Tricky on this episode, so I'll ask him what he thinks about these whole factors and which one is for him, because it feels like for women it's different factors. Like, if we are to, let me even see, if I'm to put it up accordingly, I think emotional will be number one for me. Then I can now think financially, because when I'm emotionally okay and I'm financially fine, mentally, physically, in fact, physically is not an issue. I mean, I'm financially okay. If I am physically not fit, why are there doctors and why are there drugs? And if husband or the guy decides to japa, why? I can pay friends. I mean, I have the finance, so it's not an issue. Then, okay, I think it would be emotional, psychological, financial, or let's just say financial number two. Then the rest can follow. But you'd find that some people would say mental number one. Yeah, a lady can tell you she has to be mentally ready for a baby. And some of these people probably have baby number one. So now if I'm trying to get baby number one, the first factor I need to look at might be emotional. Now I already have baby number one. Me now, Wathoni, I already have baby number one. When I'm ready to have baby number two, my issue might be mental. I'm not sure I won't go mad when I'm ready to have a second child, because I know how it was for me having the first child. I mean, for me, I had postpartum depression. It was crazy. So yeah, it's like, okay, these factors just change. Basically, I'm looking at the factors so that if you, who is trying to get pregnant, hasn't thought of it in this angle, you have to start thinking about it in this angle. Because me, I didn't even think, I'm like, it happened. Okay, I have a child. There's nothing to do. What to do? Even those that are pregnant and they are teenagers, I think they basically suffer all the factors. Imagine suffering all the factors and you still have to have your child. You don't have money, you're emotionally imbalanced, you're psychologically, you're mentally not ready, everything. So, I mean, how do you want to take care of a child in that kind of situation? So, it's just a lot. So when it comes to kids, it's a lot. That's why on our next episode, we'll discuss. Wait for it. So anyways, basically, you have to be emotionally ready, you have to be psychologically ready, you have to be physically ready to have a child. Physically ready, which entails, okay, is this the right time to have a child? You can't be sick and you're planning to have a child. When I mean sick, like now imagine you have COVID and then you're now still planning to have a child. That means you're physically not ready to have a child. So basically you have to look at these factors before you're ready to have a child to have your journey towards being an amazing mother. And that's it on today's episode. Until next time, remember to subscribe, to like, comment, and let's share. Let's discuss. Nobody basically discusses these things. It's things we need to discuss. People go through these things. People need to know. People need to be educated. Let's share what we think about these things so that we can help our neighbor and just discuss and just know about these things basically. On today's episode, until next time, bye guys.